Hi there. I've been using menstrual discs. So this is a menstrual disc for 14 years now. And this month, this cycle, for the first time, I tried a menstrual cup. And I want to explain you why I prefer the discs and the differences between the two. So if you never tried any of these type of products, I recommend you do. There are many advantages in general. The biggest advantage for me is that you can use them for up to 12 hours, which means you only have to take care of them in the morning and at night. And then you can have a whole day where you just are relaxed without having to carry stuff around or worry that you need to go and replace things every 4 hours or whatever. You can also have the whole night without, worrying of leakage and all that. Because with tampons you should replace every 4 hours. The pads also kind of smell and it's uncomfortable. You cannot swim with them. So yeah, that's the biggest advantages for me. Another advantage of this one is that because it stays up underneath the cervix, the vaginal canal is open, so you can have sex with them and mess-free sex, because then there's no blood here. Another advantage also is, of course, the price. You'll save a lot of money over the years because you can use the same for several years. And also the environment, of course, less plastic. And also, I find them much less complicated. I know it sounds like the other ones are easier because it's what you're used to, but if you try them, I think you will really like them. Anyway, the difference between the two. So the reason I bought a cup was because I was on holidays. I needed to be a whole day outside of the house, didn't want to carry stuff with me, didn't know if I would have access to toilets every 4 hours. And I wanted to buy a disc, couldn't find them, because that's unfortunately one of the disadvantages of discs is that they are not being sold yet in most stores. But cups, fortunately, are already sold. It's easy to find. But discs, some stores have them, but most of the time you just have to order online. So one of the reasons why I like the discs better is because I don't feel them. I mean, the cup, I must say, the cup, if it's properly inserted and if you don't go to the toilet and if you're not pushing somehow, I don't know, if you're not then you also don't feel them. But it's like the moment, for instance, you because the difference, just for you to understand. So imagine that this is your vaginal canal, right? So this is I'll insert the disc. You insert the disc, then when you pass the entrance of the vagina, you just go with your finger and you keep pushing it, right? It's going kind of down like this. And then when it's kind of down, there is a time when here with your finger, so you're pushing with your finger, right? And then you kind of feel like there is no more, like the vaginal wall here on top ends. That's where your pubic bone is. So let's imagine that your cup is there now. You just, with your finger, push it up. So it stays kind of here, tucked behind your bone. See, imagine if this was my bone. So imagine it's here. Trying to make it so that it's easy to understand. It's here, right? And then I just tuck it behind the bone. Yeah, hope it's understandable. So it stays there. And that's how you know it's well inserted. It's when it's underneath the bone. You can feel it with your finger that you're feeling here the bone. You feel the cup there. So it's properly inserted. Everything is fine. Don't need to worry anymore. When you go to the toilet, it will kind of move inside because of the pressures you're making on your pelvic floor. And it will kind of empty itself, but it will stay tucked. It will not, so it kind of moves like this, empties a little. This also moves a little, but it kind of empties every time you pee or poop. So it never leaks. For me, it never leaks. In 14 years, very rarely it leaked for me. And I always know it's properly inserted. Then when I want to remove it, so every 12 hours you have to remove it. Depends on the disc. There are many different types of discs. There are disposable discs also that you can just use 12 hours and then throw away, put a new one. I used those for the first years when I started with discs. This disc, for instance, there are yeah, I'm just going to show you. There are different models, but yeah, there's this thing here for you to put your finger. So you basically put your finger here and pull. So imagine this was like here, right? Behind the pubic bone. You put your finger there and you push it down, and then just pull and take it out, empty it, wash it. If you want, you can sterilize it, you don't have to, and then you insert it back again. With cups, you need to first fold it so that you can enter. There are different types of folds. So there's like, you can make it like into a little C. There's many different types. I'm showing the one I like. The one I find easier is this one. You just do like this with your finger, goes down, kind of punching it, then makes like a little flower like this. And so when you're inserting, you insert with this part here first, and it will stay there. And once it's all inside, so you need to make sure this is also not showing outside of your vaginal opening. I cut the stem. You can leave it as long as you want, depending also on your vaginal side and whether you like to feel things inside or not. I don't. So yeah, you push it inside. Everything should be inside. Nothing, even the stem should stay inside. So it's not like a tampon where the stem stays outside. The stem also stays inside. And when everything is really inside the vagina, you don't feel anything. When you put your finger here, you don't feel it. That's when it's well inserted, and it will just open inside. And then it stays like, imagine that this is your vaginal canal, it opens, and it kind of stays. So if I push, it doesn't come out, kind of like, because it's making here kind of a seal. So when I want to take it out, I have to break the vacuum seal. So one way you can do it is by pinching it, so it kind of, instead of being like this, stays like this, see, and it opens the seal. Or the way that I prefer, because again I'm used to discs, so it's the way that I find easier, is you put the finger here underneath until you do like this, and then you push it, same way you would do with the disc. And so with this, of course, you cannot have sex because this is the same place where a tampon is, right? So it's inside your vaginal canal. Then the other thing is that, whereas with this one, as long as it's behind this pubic bone, you know that it's correct, right? So you always feel it with your finger. With this one, after you insert, you always need to make sure that this opens. And it's quite sometimes hard. There are many ways you can do that. So one way you can do it is by going around with your finger like this. If it feels round, it means it should be open. Another way you can do it also is with the, so let me see if I can explain. If this is a circle, right? This is a circle like this. When I twist, it rotates the circle. But if this was like this, right, and I would try and twist, it would not twist, see? So when you are, so again, this is your vagina, you put two fingers inside and you try and twist. And if it's twisting, it means it's open. So these are two ways you can find out that it's open. So after, and everyone talks about how messy this is, because of course when you're taking it out, you're pushing it like this. Very often blood will come to your fingers, but again, don't find it that bad personally. But with this, I find it much more messy because I do need to have my fingers inside a lot more to check if it's sealed and all that, to take it out. So I personally find it much more messy than this one. On top of that, every time that I pee or poop, especially poop, pee not always, but especially poop, when I push on my pelvic muscles, what happens is this kind of moves down, a little. And then because of the seal, I cannot just push it up. I need to break the seal. So imagine I'm pooping. I need to break the seal after I finish pooping and then push it up. And the whole time I'm pooping, this is kind of coming out of my vagina like this, which is very uncomfortable. So very often what I end up doing is just taking it out, and after pooping, I found it really very, personally didn't like it at all. So that's another thing. The other thing is that even though this looks much bigger than this, right? The cup looks bigger. This leaks. On my heavier days, this leaked. It got too full. Also, yeah, so this leaked. This doesn't leak. So yeah, these are my this is my comparison between the two. I honestly think that yeah, for me, I actually bought now an extra one of these. This is the one I bought to have for holidays, just in case it happens again, because I still think that a cup is much better than using pads or tampons. Definitely, at least you have 12 hours where you don't have to worry, you don't have to carry stuff with you. So that's better. But with this one, I always felt like I needed to have a backup. So I always had a pad. At home, I actually use period underwear because it's the same as using pads, but you wash the underwear the same way you would use the other one, and you don't feel that uncomfortable plastic on you and the smell and everything. But on holidays, I did use pads with this, and as I said, sometimes it leaked, not always. So especially on my less intensive days, it worked good. There was no problems. But on my heavier days, it did leak. So I personally, but again, as I said, I only use this for one cycle, whereas I've been using this for 14 years. So of course, it makes sense that I. But again, the very first time I used the disc, I didn't have like a learning curve or anything. I find this very easy to use. It's really very easy. Just again, you just press it, put it inside. Your finger just go a tiny little bit inside, so you don't not really dirty. Then you push it until you stop feeling it. Now it fell away, of course. Inside it doesn't. And then when it's here, you just push it up so it stays there, and that's it. And then when you want to take it out, you put your finger inside the vagina. It goes until here, until the pubic bone, and then you tuck it here underneath this. See, this one is even easier because it has this. Some of them you need to put two hands, but if you buy these ones that have a little hole, then it's much easier. So yeah, put your finger there, push it, and then just push it with you, and it will come out empty. And then you can wash it just with water. You can wash it with water and a gentle soap. What I do is I wash it with the water and an intim soap, and then after that I put it in a UV sterilizer, and I put a different one. So I have two at home that I change every 12 hours. But when I'm on holidays, I will just wash it with water, it's just that's what I did also with this one. Just wash with water, and then at the end of the period, at the end of your cycle, you do need to sterilize better. I personally, I'm going to show you here. I have here this boiler, like this. You put water inside. I just use it for my discs. So yeah, you put water inside. Then you put here. You can either steam sterilize it or boil it. I boil it. And then I have also a steam sterilizer. That is those that I used to use for my son when he was a baby. And I use it now for my discs. Of course, when he was a baby, I didn't use it for my discs. But now that is no longer having bottles, I use this for my discs. And yeah, that's basically how it is. And I have the UV sterilizer that I use every 12 hours, but only at home. All this stuff I only do at home. On holidays, you don't need to care about this. So on holidays, you just have this. Right here. On holidays, you just have this. You wash it with water, put it back again. Then you sleep the next day, you take it out, wash it with water, put it back again. And then when you come back at the end of your cycle, if you're on holidays, you just wash it a little better with water and soap. If you want, you put it inside the box. Usually it comes with a box. This one has, actually, so this one comes with this hard box. Usually they come just with one of these things. My other discs that I use at home, they have a silicone box, so they always have some box. They should be breathable. So you put it in the box, and then when you get home, you wash everything properly and you sterilize and all that. While you're on holidays, you don't need to worry, unless of course you're going to be on all this for more than 1 month. Then worst case scenario, you can also bring two. one for each month, if you're lucky enough to be 2 months on holidays. So yeah, this is my review. If you have any questions, let me know.